there are two main types of stroke. What are they?
Ischemic, which is characterized by an embolic stroke, or a hemorrhagic stroke, more prevalence with the embolic type stroke. So something coming from a clot. So if you have like AFib is one of those conditions in the heart where the atria poorly functions and you can develop a clot. That clot can shower up to the brain via your internal carotid arteries, your external carotid arteries as well. And it can cause an issue. It can cause a blockage in that flow of blood.
Yeah, so you basically have just arteries are just pipes.
Yep.
They're just carrying blood up to the brain. And if those pipes are blocked, like, you're going to have a stroke.
Mhm.
And what Cris was mentioning is he said ischemic stroke is the most common type of stroke, which is the obstructing stroke. That's the one where you block the artery and the blood flow doesn't get there. I think it's like 71% of the time or something like that.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that. You're going to have an ischemic stroke. What a hemorrhagic stroke is when one of those arteries in your brain bursts.
Correct.
Right. And when that artery in your brain bursts, right, depending on how big that rupture is, right, that blood is going to splash on your brain cells. That artery doesn't get the blood to that area and you lose some perfusion there.
Correct.
Now, if it's a huge burst, that's a problem, because not only do you have the swelling secondary to the blood touching those brain cells, but you also have that lack of blood flow, and you have a skull. You only have so much space in here. So if that blood gets too big, that blood flow gets too big in that brain, it's going to put pressure on other parts of your brain, and you have a herniated brain, which is a problem.
Correct. And I think you touched on that when you said the skull, the cavity only has a certain amount of space for certain things. You have your brain tissue, cerebrospinal fluid, and blood. But when that blood leaves your vasculature, it's now creating space that is not existent. So it starts to press on different various areas of the brain tissue, and it starts to, maybe you have a shift, a midline shift. More, I guess, devastating would be you have herniation, tentorial herniation, where you're herniating brain tissue out of the foramen magnum, and that is a big problem.
I mean, it's an absolutely devastating problem.